Hey everyone, in the last video we added collision detection so you can now collide with the obstacles. So let's add collision detection for things that you're meant to pick up. So usually games like this, there's coins and bonuses and things like that. So let's go ahead and add a few things that can be picked up. Now, you'd normally create the model, whatever it is that's going to be picked up in your 3D modeler, so Asset Forge or with Pro Builder built into Unity or whatever. Since it doesn't really matter what we use, I'm just going to quickly create a coin-like object using a cylinder. So we're just going to go to Game Object, 3D Object. We're going to use Cylinder. Let's raise that up. Come over here to Inspector. Move this closer. Now we're going to shrink it vertically. So that's Y, so like 0.2. It's still too big. 0.1, way too big. 0.5, that's getting better. Let's also shrink this like 0.6. 0.6. We'll shrink that a little bit more. So now we have a coin-like object. Like I said, you'd actually probably create this in a 3D modeler, but again, as I like to emphasize, the objects that you're using really don't matter. This is about teaching you the programming and the design. So now we'll just give that like a yellow color. So right click, create, material. We'll call this coin mat. With it selected, we click here for albedo, and we just choose like a yellow color. And then we just drag and drop it onto the coin. So there, we have a coin. Now what we're going to do, going to move this out in front just so I can check for an effect. Now usually you want these to be animated like they're spinning or something. So to make an object animated, you apply what's known as angular velocity, and you need a rigid body to do that. So with the object selected, in the inspector, click on Add Component, Physics, and then Rigid Body. As always, get rid of Gravity. And what we're going to do, we're going to apply a script to this to give it velocity. So right-click, Create, and C#. We'll call this CoinCon. Click on the coin object. CoinCon. Open that up. We can again get rid of the lines that have the double / because those are remark statements. They're not being used. And in the start section, let's just add get component, rigid body, angular velocity, whoops, sorry. Not sure why I typed out that. New vector 3. My apologies. I didn't even notice what it was typing out. So new vector 3. And then I believe we want this to spin on the objects. I believe it would be the x-axis. So let's try like 5 on the x, 0, 0. And if it's wrong, it's easy enough to fix. So let's just push the coin out in front so we can see it. When we get it all ready, we're going to remove it from the scene and turn it to a prefab, and it's just going to be instantiated like the other objects. Nope, that is not the right one. Oh, did I actually apply the script? Cylinder, yep, I did apply the script. So, I was wrong about that. Let's try Z. Well, right now it's tilted on its side, so it'd be spinning on the y-axis, global axis. So let's do 5 for y. If not, then it's Z. Nope, it's Y. So bottom line is it's using the global axis because it's spinning around this axis. So it's using the global axis because it's angular velocity. I thought it was using its own local axis, but it's not. It's using the global axis of Y from what I can tell. All right, so we have, by default, it has a capsule collider because when you create 3D objects from Unity directly, it automatically adds colliders for the most part. So let's make it a trigger. Not sure if we really want that to be a capsule, though. You won't be able to grab it from the other lanes, but from the front, it's fine. It's just from the sides, it's a little bit forgiving, but that's okay. Good enough for this demonstration. So, what we're going to do, we're going to go to that coin, and we're going to look for a collision with the player, and if there's a collision, then it'll self-destruct. So, what we want to do then, we want to make sure the player, let's see, so right now our player is still just game object. Just call him dude. A couple ways you can do this. You could use a tag like we did in the other video, but in his case, he's not being instantiated. So if you just use the player name, that's fine. 6 one way, 1/2 dozen the other. We'll add a tag. I was just going to use the name of the object, but we'll be consistent. So save. We come back to dude. Add that tag. Now, so we're back to the coin script, and we're going to say on trigger enter if other dot tag equals dude, then just destroy game object. Now, if you're going to have, say, like some sparkles appear, like you're going to use a particle system, you'd instantiate that before the destroy, but it'd still be a consequence of this if statement. So let's do that. Let's make sure that it gets destroyed. So he should run right into that. Yes, it got picked up. Okay. So what we're now going to do, we're going to go to game flow, new variable. So public, this is going to be static because this is going to be something that's overall game control. So it's going to be accessible to any object that needs it. So public static int, and we'll call this total coins. And it starts at 0. Again, you don't have to. If you set something up as a number, then it usually will default to 0. So now what's going to happen is when I pick up that coin, I want total coins to be increased by 1. So what we can do is we can go back to CoinCon, and like I said, just as you would instantiate the particle system here, you can also change a value in here. Now this particular one you could do either way. You could either have the player, when colliding with it, increase it, or you can have the coin do it. By doing it this way, you don't have to add additional coding to the player to check for this. So what we'll just do is we'll just keep it all on the coin. So game flow dot total coins plus equals, that means whatever it's equal to, you're going to add something to it, plus equals 1. So take the total value, increase it by 1. And you could have like different coin values. Maybe one is worth 5, maybe one is worth 10, and that kind of thing. So you'd also have to have a variable here to adjust for what type of coin it is. Sorry for jumping around. What we'll do now is we'll also go into the debug log, and we'll just make sure that that's actually happening. So game flow dot total coins, and that's it. We just want that to be displayed in down here in the debug log. And what we'll do is add a few of these. Again, I'm going to delete these and turn it into a prefab, but I'm just testing all the functionality. So, and for that, I just had the object selected and I chose Control D, and that duplicates it. And now, down here, it should change to 3 once I've picked up, well, it'll say 1, 2, and then 3. There we go. So just like that, you've added a beneficial item. You could add other items as well. Like maybe it's a capsule that makes you run faster or makes you invincible for a few seconds. Or maybe you can jump higher, that kind of thing. So let's get rid of the extra ones. We'll delete that one. We'll delete that one. We'll take this one. We'll drag and drop it into the scene. Delete that last one. And now what we're ready to do is, since this is a prefab, we can now start instantiating this. So we would go to our GameFlow script, and we're already randomizing to instantiate things here. So what we do, so public transform, coin, again, going to use an OBJ to remind me that it's a game object. When I see it in the pop-up lists, let's go back. GM, coin object. There we go. So now we can start instantiating it. So as you start to instantiate more and more objects, it gets more and more complex. So for now, what we're going to do is we're just going to include this as yet another spawn. So you have the option of spawning an obstacle or a coin. Sometimes games like this will have a certain amount of coins within a certain area. Not going to get to anything specific like that, though. So what we want to do, well, if we do this, so random choice, this either instantiates a double crate or a cart object. So let's bump this up to 3 to make way for another choice. Rather than just doing else, we have to do if random choice equals 1, and then else, I believe we can use most of this. The vertical position might change a little bit, but we're still using the random choice. So next tell spawn, so that's the Z. Let's go ahead and check what the Y is on that. Looks like it's 0.6. Still using random X. And then I believe we should just be able to do coin OBJ and the coin OBJ's rotation. So as long as the coin isn't like spawning inside of things, we should be fine. It is kind of big. We will need to change the size of it, but yeah, And so other than the size, and it is indeed counting, we're up to 2. And we'll just run into an object so we know we didn't break that. Yep, still says ouch. Okay. So let's just tweak the size of that a little bit. So let's make that like 0.5 and 0.5. Run it one more time. Yep. Okay. So I think that's going to be it for this video. It's a little bit shorter, but we added new functionality. I believe the next one we will add what I keep saying we're going to add and then don't, and that is the ability to run up a ramp, and then you're going to be like running along the top of like a train, that kind of thing. Or maybe it's just like a higher track. We'll decide when we get to it what we want to do. So, like an overpass, that kind of thing. But either way, it's going to be a ramp that you can run up and then you'll be like on a higher level. If you think of Subway Surfers, they also add things like jetpacks. Don't want to really get into that yet because then that adds even a greater level of verticality. So for now, that's it for this video. In the next one, I think we will finally handle the ramps. And I hope that this was helpful. And if you have any questions or any requests, anything you want to see, just let me know. Put it in the comments. And please enjoy the rest of your day.